All of you. My name is Rosie DeConto, and I'm the Community Engagement Specialist at Vital Connections. Vital Connections is a health equity organization dedicated to transforming systems and addressing gaps within the healthcare system. Thank you again for joining this month's Community Convo on Diabetes, Healing the Body Through Nutrition, Part 2. So we did one last year, and earlier this year, we conducted a Community Convo survey. It was in January, and this topic was the #1 most requested for Part 2. So here we are again. And I think diabetes is a topic that's worth revisiting every year because so many people, millions of people are, individuals and families are affected by diabetes. So we're excited to continue this conversation together. Let's see if Sue Ellen is here yet.
I haven't seen her come in, Rosie.
That's the part I'm supposed to introduce her. I wonder where she's at. She accepted my invite, so well, let's move on. Before we get started, so today Sue Ellen is going to be joining us. She's a registered nutrition and dietitian. She'll help us take a deeper look at diabetes and the important roles nutrition plays in preventing and managing disease. Diabetes is this topic. Oh, so sorry. So before we start, so Sue Ellen's going to be doing a presentation for about 45 minutes, and her presentations are really interactive. So ask questions. If you have a question, feel free to put it in the chat. Or raise your hand. She normally asks questions along the way. But if you have an urgent question or something you're like, oh, your hand's raised and it's been a while, I didn't get to you, feel free to put it in the chat so I don't forget. And we'll come back to it. And then about 4-ish, we're going to have Nahdra do a short live cooking demo with us. But before we begin, let's review our community agreement to help create a respectful and welcoming space for everyone. So that way we're all on the same page. So in the meantime, let me share my, well, she's probably trying to get in here. I'll check my email right after this, but let me share the participants agreement. And then you guys can help me read it. Oh, I'm not able to share, send request. It looks like I'm not co-host. Someone else is sharing. Oh, can you stop sharing?
Oh, yes.
I'm like, hold on. You should be able
Sorry.
to. Can you guys see that?
There you go.
All right, so let me put this down. Okay, and we can read it together. I'll start. Listen with care. Hold space for each other by practicing active and compassionate listening, whether you're a panelist or a community member. Anybody else want to jump in?
I can read the next one. Step up, step back, share your voice if you haven't spoken, and make space for others if you've spoken a lot.
Share your personal experiences instead of generalizing for others.
Professional training, research, and lived experience all contribute valuable knowledge. Create space for different voices and ways of knowing.
Respect confidentiality, personal stories shared in this space stay here unless you have permission to share outside.
Panelists are here to share knowledge and lived experiences, not medical advice. Please consult a licensed healthcare provider for personal medical concerns.
Let's assume good intentions and focus on the impact. We may not always get it right, but we stay open to learning and repair.
One mic. Only one person speaks at a time. Avoid side conversations.
Respect time. Be mindful of the time so everyone has a chance to share.
Last, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Community care. Care for yourself, take a break, stretch, drink water, use the bathroom, do whatever you have to do to take care of yourself and to support the collective well-being of the group. Let's see if Sue Ellen arrived. Sue Ellen, where you at? What?
Do you have her
I don't have her
phone number
I emailed her.
or email?
Told her to get on. No, where is she? She accepted my invite. Let me see if there's an email. I mean, a phone number at the end of her. Oh. Okay, here's the phone number. Let me call. Give me a minute.
Does anybody have any announcements that they've heard about recently pertaining to food insecurity or anything like that that they someone has their hand in the air. Is that Zoom user says? Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah.
Can you please change my name, please?
I don't know that we can do that.
My name is Tanya. It's TANYA DUBUISSON. Thank you.
I can go ahead and do that. I'll do that.
I updated to Tanya, Brianna.
Okay, never mind. Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you, Tanya. While we wait, does anybody have any announcements or anything
Sue
that
Ellen's trying to get into the Zoom room and I don't think you need a code.
It's her phone number, email code.
No.
just send her the link?
I had to do it. You did it too.
Look at your email again. I sent you the link.
Yep, and I'm clicked on it, and it says my computer is telling me to go to enter a code, an email code, or telephone number. I'll try again because
How about the calendar? Yeah, how about the calendar invite? It should bring you right.
Calendar invite.
Yeah, because I sent you an invite.
Go to the calendar one because
I just put the link in the chat, Rosie, if you want to.
meeting to start sign in. Okay, hold on. I think the calendar one is opening. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, there should be nothing. You should just press join meeting as attendee.
Okay, I got you. I think you're in now.
Oh, yay. Okay. I'm glad I called. That sounds weird. Okay. All right.
Hello.
Welcome. You made
it. Can you see me? Let me see here.
Let's pin her. Okay.
Okay, I can't see myself here.
Yeah, we can't see you.
Okay, my camera. All right.
Okay. Okay.
Can you see me?
Yep. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, of course. Yeah, I'm sorry. The link that you sent me, it didn't work. I should have went to the web calendar invite.
Yeah,
okay.
It's all good. Well, you're here now. Thank you.
Okay. So should I share my screen?
Feel free to share your screen. But before we begin, do you want to just introduce yourself, your name, the organization you're affiliated with, your role, and how you came to do this work?
Okay, sure. Can you guys hear me? Let me turn this up. I can't really hear you.
Can everybody hear her? Let's get a thumbs up.
Okay,
Yes.
awesome.
All
Great.
right.
So my name is Sue Ellen Anderson-Haynes. I'm a registered dietitian. I've been a dietitian for almost 20 years. I came into this field because I had a family member that was ill and she wanted to improve her health, and she told me about nutrition and other things she was doing besides medication. I was very interested. I took a class, loved it, and decided to major in nutrition. So from there, I've worked in clinical practice, in corporate wellness, in research. I've done a variety of things. I also worked here at Joslin Diabetes Center or Boston Medical. In Lowell, I also work in the bariatric as a bariatric dietitian. So I'm well versed in different areas. Right now, my focus is integrative and functional medicine, where we look at the root cause and figuring out what's going on really with your health. So as a holistic dietitian, I focus on girls and women's health. My company is called 360 Girls and Women. So we focus on preventing, managing, and if possible, reversing certain hormonal conditions and chronic conditions. Hormonal conditions like PCOS, fibroids, endometriosis, and chronic conditions like diabetes that we're going to talk about today, heart disease, and others. And so we use a variety of techniques, including supplementation, herbal remedies, hydrotherapy, aromatherapy, different types of integrative therapies to help you bring you back to good health. So today, I guess the goal is for me to talk about diabetes and processed foods. I know that was a little quick, but I know that you guys are set for time as well, and also looking forward to a cooking demo later, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let me try to bring up my slides here. Let me see, share. Okay, it's looking a little different here. Share more. I think you have to give me access to,
Sure.
yeah, hold on. It's not
Not
giving.
necessarily, but I just made you a co-host.
Okay, so let me
That's
see.
all.
Let's see. See. Okay, let's try again. Usually I share and it is not technical things. Okay. Zoom changed some things the last time I presented because this doesn't look the same way. I need to share a portion of my screen. I need to share it do slide presentation. It's allowing me to it's okay. Let me see.
I think you're up.
Okay, let me see if this works. And then format,
I think we only see a
slideshow.
portion of it though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you just need to get rid of that left side. Yeah. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay. So it looks a little different than I last used it a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
but I'm able to figure it out. Okay. So I am going to start off by explaining what diabetes is, right? So some of you may or may not know what it is. And I usually like to talk a little bit about the lock and key scenario. So if you are able to chime in on your comments, let me know if you ever heard of this scenario, if you've heard of the word insulin, and if you've heard of the word blood glucose. Do you guys know what those words are? Insulin, blood glucose, those are pretty basic for some people, but not for others. So I'm going to try to see if I could get into the chat to see what you guys are saying. I don't see anybody.
I can read for you.
Okay, you can read for me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Heard of insulin.
Someone says yes, yes. Okay.
Yes.
So I'll just tell you what it is, right? So the key unlocks the door, right? When you go somewhere, your key is unlocking your door. So insulin is the key that unlocks your cell's door so that glucose could come in. What is glucose? When you eat a meal, food is transferred into, especially food with carbohydrates, is transferred into sugar. And another word for sugar is glucose. So almost all the foods that we're eating, it's going to be transferred into glucose. That's the main component, especially if you're eating carbohydrates. And we need glucose to fuel our cells, our red blood sugar, and our brain cells. And so what happens when the key the insulin unlocks our cells, the sugar goes right in. So the door opens and sugar goes in, and our cells get fed and we get well nourished, we get energized. This is what happens when a normal function is occurring. When this mechanism doesn't work properly, the key or the insulin is jammed. It doesn't work. It doesn't have enough insulin, or the insulin is mismatched, doesn't know what to do, or the cell is just not working with the key. And so there's different types of diabetes. The specific types we're going to talk about is type 1 and type 2, but there's other types as well. There's type 3, 4, there's 1.5, right? But for this particular class, we're going to focus a little bit more on type 2 because that is the main type of diabetes that's affecting the world. So again, this mechanism, pretty simple, lock and key, your cells and insulin, right? And we need them to communicate smoothly so that blood does not build up in the bloodstream. Oh, sorry, glucose does not build up, sugar doesn't build up in the bloodstream. When glucose or sugar builds up, things will happen, and we're going to talk about some of those things. Any questions about this door, this lock and key scenario?
Don't be shy, y'all. This is your community convo, so.
Okay. All right. So let me tell you a little bit about, let me move this up, about testing. Because some people ask me, and I don't know if I always had a chance to go over it. So we have to talk about testing because people say, okay, what is diabetes? What is prediabetes? First of all, type 1 diabetes happens when your body is not producing enough insulin. So you need to take insulin, right? If we do not have insulin, if we do not have that key to unlock that door, the sugar is just going to build up in your bloodstream, and your cells are going to starve. You're going to feel hungry. You're going to feel thirsty. You're not going to get the energy. You could pass out, and it could be life-threatening. So people with type 1 need to take insulin to survive, to move that sugar from the bloodstream into the cell, okay? People with prediabetes having similar issues, the insulin is not working. So we call that insulin resistance. The insulin or the key is just not working well. And so there's different parameters. Diabetes is like your A1C, your hemoglobin A1C, which is a blood test, is 6.5 or higher, versus prediabetes is 5.7 and 6.4. Now, if there's a way that you can tell if you have diabetes or prediabetes, you get a blood test, and you'll get the A1C blood test. You also get the fasting blood sugar test. You could also do an oral glucose tolerance test. And basically what that means, you'll take a series of drinks, if one fasting and a drink that has sugar in it, and then they test your blood sugar a few hours after to see where your numbers are. And if your blood sugar is in the 200 or higher after that drink, that's diabetes. And prediabetes, 140 to 199, prediabetes. Okay, so that's how they classify it, and there's this different series of tests that you can take, but they're all blood tests. Any questions about this? Someone had, I think something happened in the chat. Did I see something go up?
Nothing.
No?
Type 1 diabetes you're born with.
So type 1 diabetes, you have a gene. There's a gene that's that you have that yes, you're born with that gene, but it activates. It is activated through the environment. So you could have the gene for type 1, but you could get type 1 later in life. You get it earlier in life, right? And so they're doing ongoing testing now to see if they can figure out how to stop that reaction so it turns into, so the gene is activated. But yes, type 1 is autoimmune, right? So autoimmune means that your cells, your body's attacking the cells that are going to produce the insulin. So you have no more or little to none insulin production. Okay, your own body's attacking the way that you should be producing those producing insulin so that you can lower your blood sugar. So I don't know if I clarify that, but it is autoimmune, right? And yes, you're born with that gene, but something activates the gene and they are not sure what it is. Again, environment, some kind of illness, stress. Okay? Okay.
Somebody had a question. Rick said, are there early symptoms for diabetes?
Yes, we're going to go over those right now. Awesome. Yeah, you're ahead of the game. Risk factors first, and then we're going to talk about symptoms. So when you think about risk factors, how do I get it, right? Is there a red flag that I can look at. And so what you want to realize is that, yes, you can have high blood sugar. You can have low levels of HDL. HDL is a good cholesterol. You could have high triglycerides. Triglycerides are the fat in your body, and you could have high blood sugar. Basically, it's like metabolic syndrome, and your waist size can be very large. These are setting you up for diabetes if you're overweight or obese, and if your diet is highly processed, especially red and processed meats, that increases your risk to get diabetes. Age is also a factor. As you age, especially 45 and older, you become more insulin resistant. So when we think about women's health, because I'm a women's health dietitian, your estrogen levels drop, right? Estrogen helps protect the way how your body reduces body fat, right? And when your estrogen levels drop, your abdominal fat area increases, and that is a risk factor for diabetes. So a lot of the women that I see that are in perimenopause and menopause, their risk for diabetes significantly increase, especially with the decrease of estrogen and the increase of the abdominal fat. Now, family history, if you have like specific race, African American, Asian population, there's different race factors that say it is a factor. Some people debate that and say, how could race be a factor? But they're finding it more in specific races. That's what research says. If you have gestational diabetes in pregnancy, that's also a factor, right? So if you compare the diabetes and pre-diabetes signs, pretty similar, except that the age for pre-diabetes is a little lower and the diabetes range is a little higher. But again, this is just general information. It could be different. Someone could get diabetes at 20, right? And someone could get pre-diabetes at 70. It just really depends. But this is generally what it is. Anyone has any questions from here?
Someone
I
has.
do. What is it? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
You go ahead.
Is it blackness around your neck as well when you're pre-diabetic or what?
Yes. So, the signs and symptoms of diabetes. So let me go back. Let me skip a couple slides, and because you asked the question twice, so let's go to the slide. So yeah, acanthosis. I don't remember the pronunciation of the last part, so I'm not going to say it, but there's a word that says that the insulin resistance that builds up in your body, it can have effects on your back of your neck. Okay, and that's the actual medical condition that you can have. And it's not that you didn't take a bath, it's that there is high amounts of sugar in your bloodstream. So that key did not unlock the cell door and the sugar is just swimming around in your bloodstream. And because of that insulin resistance, your skin is not able to have proper blood flow. So when we think about that, that's a actual a sign, right? And so signs and symptoms also include frequent hunger, frequent thirst, frequent urination, poor wound healing, extremely dry and itchy skin. So why is this happening? Why are these symptoms happening? Just to make you understand, you're getting hungry because, again, the sugar, okay, I'm talking about glucose, the sugar is not going into the cells. It's hanging out in the bloodstream. So you're going to keep eating. Your cells are like, hey, I'm hungry. Feed me more food. Feed me more food. So constant hunger, then constant thirst because the sugar is building up in your bloodstream and your kidneys and your body's trying to filter out the extra sugar. So you're trying to urinate all that sugar out. So you're going to get a lot of urination. And because you're urinating so much, you can get super thirsty, a lot of thirst, right? And then wound healing comes in with blood flow. If your blood glucose level is very high in your body, your vessels aren't able to produce nutrients and move blood through the body as it should, and your cuts or any kind of injuries won't be able to heal. You need oxygen to heal wounds and you need proper nutrients. And when there's a lot of sugar around injuries, that's a recipe for infection, poor wound healing. You don't want sugar to be around a wound or increase blood glucose, right? So that's what's happening in the body. So those are some of the things. There's also more. There's like skin tags that you could get on your face and your body. There's small little skins that hang off, and those are signs of insulin resistance. You want to go to a dermatologist. It could be other things going on, but these are just some of the things that you need to think of. And usually we say it says hunger, thirst, urination, right? Extreme hunger, thirst, and urination. Those are the top ones, but there are others. Anyone has any other questions?
Rick, you wrote Rick, well, what causes your body to start creating less insulin?
Good question. So I'll go back to my other slide. Let me see here. Um, okay, I think it's in my slides down the road, but I love to explain this example of fats because a lot of people believe that sugar or carbs is the key to the cause of diabetes. Now, there are multiple reasons because people can develop diabetes through an injury, like they have to have surgery, liver transplant, autoimmune processes, through chemotherapy. These are other reasons, right? And there are diet and lifestyle reasons. And when I go back to what's the fastest growing type of diabetes, it's type 2. And that's what we're talking about, the diet and lifestyle. So when we talk about diet and lifestyle, I'm going to give you this example. When we eat foods, our cells recognize that, right? And how do our cells recognize that? I would like to start to talk about fats, right? There are two types of main fats. There's saturated fat and polyunsaturated fats. Saturated fats are found mainly in meat and dairy. Unsaturated fats are found mainly in plant foods, okay, like nuts, seeds, olive oil, avocados, soy, and those things. When we eat our particular, based on the fats that we eat, our cells can communicate differently in our bodies. So when a diet is high in saturated fat, our cells can communicate similar to how the insulin and the key work. Our cells are surrounded by fatty acids, so phosphatty acid layers that helps the cells communicate. They send messages to the cells. They have transportation going on where they can allow things to move in and out the cells. They create barriers. So our fatty acids are in our brain, all over, especially in our brain, but they're all over our cells. And when our fatty acids are composed of foods that are high in saturated fats, the cells can't communicate well. They can become very rigid and stiff. So when insulin comes in to unlock that cell's door, your cells are so stiff and rigid, it doesn't know what to do. It's having a hard time opening the cell's door because the saturated fatty acid makes the cell like hard, rigid, okay? And it doesn't know how to communicate well. However, when you're eating a meal that is high in polyunsaturated fats, nuts, seeds, like I said, plant foods, more of those foods, your fatty acids around your cells become very flexible, they could easily communicate with this, like for example, insulin, right? And other key hormones in the body. So when insulin comes out and say, hey, I see your cell, it's nicely flexible, it can communicate the right message to me. That insulin is going to open the cell's door because that cell has a layer of polyunsaturated fat, not saturated fat. So that polyunsaturated fat layer easily communicates, easily opens, sugar goes in, and your body is able to process the glucose. So what's not discussed a lot in research is fat. The types of fat we're eating is driving insulin resistance, and that's documented in research. However, in the media, popular media, and all over, the emphasis is always on carbs. Carbs is the enemy. It's all carbs. Now, don't get me wrong. You have to modify the amount of carbs when you have problems eating the foods that you need to eat, right? And that's a temporary problem. When the insulin resistance goes away, you should be able to manage carbohydrates and eat it and digest it well. And that's a test I give to my clients. Once we modify what we need, diet, lifestyle, activity, labs, and everything, you should be able to eat a carbohydrate meal and you should not get high spikes in your blood sugar. If you are getting super high blood sugar levels and blood sugars in the 200s, 300s, that is a sign that your body needs more help. Okay, so when you ask what is the cause of diabetes, like I mentioned, there's multiple causes. When we think about type 2, that's diet and lifestyle related, primarily fat. The types of fats that we're eating a lot of saturated fats. Our cells cannot communicate with those particular fatty acid layers, and we're making ourselves more insulin resistant. Okay, so and I know it's a little deep, but and some people may not have discussed this, but it's in research, and I'm happy to send you articles. But this is something I talk about in my classes and my programs. I'm happy to talk about it more in detail and give more examples. But that's the kind of short story. Any question about that? Someone has a question, Drew? Hi, Drew.
Yes. Hey, how are you? Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. I'm really glad that you brought up that point, emphasizing that point, because the research I've done on diabetes so far, I've found that same thing in my research, is that the high fat diets can also put a strain on the liver, the pancreas, and adrenal glands, which are key systems that help regulate blood sugar.
Yes. Yes, I definitely. High fat diets are actually, especially it's high in saturated fat because it depends on the type of fat. Now, there's diets that could be high in polyunsaturated fats that are key for individuals that have brain disorders that need fat. Remember, our brain has a lot of those fatty acid layers. And children or anybody that's having seizures, there's a specific name I can't think of right now that they need to be on a high fat diet. So yeah, excess fat, and like I said, I mentioned where does that excess saturated fat comes from? Primarily from meat and dairy, but they're also found in packaged foods and some of these processed foods we'll talk about, and some of them are in the saturated fats. To be fair, some are found in plant foods like coconut oils, palm kernel oil, but those saturated fats, according to research, they react differently in the body than the saturated fats from animal. And then that's another deeper discussion to get into later. But I just want to just put that in your ear that it is saturated fats, right? So the goal is to minimize as much of the saturated fat as much as possible. Now, I'm a plant-based dietitian, so I'm going to always try to have you eat more plants and move towards that direction. However, if that's not for you, that's fine. Just eat more plants and minimize the saturated fat that you're eating from animals, right? So lean cuts of protein foods, that may be best for you. Again, everyone's different, and we have to work with you individually. Now, back to the slides, kind of veered away into different questions, but that's good. We love to have the conversation. So what's the fastest growing type of diabetes? I mentioned the type 2, and it does affect diverse communities. And because I'm a woman of color, I'm really concerned about my mothers, my girls, but also my men. I have husband, I have son, so I'm concerned about all communities of color, all individuals that is affected because it affects us disproportionately. A lot of those things because of access, a lot of those things are because of access to care, foods, fresh foods and vegetables, access to clean environment, clean water. So it is an access problem. And so what can we do on our end? We could just do what we can with what we have and then do the best, going forward. But I do want to put that in your ear that we are a community that's affected more. And I want to give you an example of the impact that it's having, just diabetes in general. People of color, yes, but just the impact of diabetes in the world. So I gave a presentation on girls and women with my partnership with Museum of Science in March. And what I discussed to them was that how do you know how much people do you think have diabetes? How can you put it in words? And in words on paper, if you look it up, it's going to say 40 million or approximately 1 in every 8. But actually, 1 in 4 people with diabetes don't know they have it, right? So that's actually like a combined population of Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and New Hampshire, all walking around with diabetes, not knowing that they have it. Now, can you grasp that? That's dangerous. We have to try to help our communities. So 90 to 95% of people with diabetes have type 2. It's prevalent in, like I said, African American, Hispanic, Latino, Asians. This is a lot. And so we have to help our community. Education is first, but also implementation and, providing the best access as we can. So I went through this slide already. I'm going to pass that. In my class, in my programs, I go over in detail all these systems that are affected by elevated blood sugar. Because remember, insulin resistance starts out that way, but then it develops into pre-diabetes and type 2, and it gets worse and affects every single body part. from head to toe. So we don't have time to talk about all these things. I love to go deep dive into my programs. If you're interested, we could talk about that, sign you up there and or come back. But I am going to mention though the blood vessel part. Why? Because heart disease is like the number one killer, men and women, right? So I'm gonna focus on that. We could come back and talk about the head, the feet, the reproductive, the man, the woman at another time, or you could join some of my programs. We could deep dive into that. But just to talk a little bit about the blood vessels, it is just really important because our blood needs to travel. When we eat, when we breathe, we need good blood flow. So uncontrolled, elevated blood sugars, the key's not working, the cell's not responding, leads to hardening of the arteries. The sugar builds up, leads to plaque, scars, things that build up into the arteries. Blood and nutrients cannot get through. And the flexibility of the cells, same thing as mentioned, flexibility of the cells, not flexible, can't move around. All right. And so what do we get? Atherosclerosis, which is hardening of the vessels. High blood glucose damages these vessel linings. They promote plaque to build faster, narrowing the arteries. So they reduce flow to the limbs, toes, and hands, but also to the female reproductive area and the male reproductive area. It reduces blood flow everywhere. Okay, so it's affecting your entire body. Small vessels and large vessels. So how can we improve the flexibility or the elasticity of our cells? So what are we gonna do, right? So we could talk about all the things that could happen, and there's more, and I don't want to put the bad air, scare anyone about diabetes, right? I want to uplift you all because I have a mother with diabetes. I have family and friends with diabetes. I want to uplift you and show you things that you can do. So what can you do to prevent or reduce some of this and increase your blood flow? You want to make sure that you're eating foods, number one, high in fiber. So we're going to go to this next slide. Fiber. Fiber is only found in plants. Repeat after me. Natural fiber is only found in plants. And why am I emphasizing fiber? Because they're in nuts, seeds, whole grains, fruits, and vegetables. All right, they're not in meat. They're not in packaged foods. I mean, yes, they are in packaged foods because they add them. But natural fiber. So the population is right now not meeting their fiber needs. Like 10% of us are only meeting the needs according to data. So there's like 90% of us that's not meeting our needs at all. So I like to talk about these three S's: salt, saturated fat, salt, sugar, and saturated fat. Excuse me. Those three S's, those are what you're going to find in processed and unprocessed foods. And I was invited to talk about processed and processed foods, so I want to make sure I talk about that, right? So in a nutshell, we are exposed to these foods. Does it mean we're never, ever going to eat them? No, it means we're going to limit as much as possible, because to say you're never going to eat them, that's that's almost impossible, right? Because baked corn chips, which are corn, whole grain, but they're baked, it's still processed. But to say you're never going to eat anything processed, that's going to be very difficult for anyone. But we want to limit as possible. So here's some tips that I want to share with you. First, actually, I want to go over what processed foods are. I don't want you to get hung up about these definitions, like these classifications, but there is a formulation of foods, that are grouped into four. So they're called ultra processed foods, UPFs, right? And so there's an industrial manufactured process that adds oils, fats, sugars, starches, even proteins, additives to these foods. And they have them in these four groups. All right, so now I'll show you the four groups. They're called, and again, you don't have to memorize the four groups, but just so you know, they're classified in four groups, and they are Nova 1, which is classified as unprocessed or minimally processed foods. So these are like your frozen fruits. These are even like your fresh fruits. You think about fresh fruits, they have to be picked, washed, scrubbed, put it in a bag, or put in a package. So that's process. Process is anything that's changing the original formation of the food. Unless you go to the berry tree and pick that berry and drop it in your mouth, that's the best way you could eat, right? Get the berry and drop it in your mouth. But other than that, if you go to the store and get berries, it's processed. It is fresh. It's minimally processed, but it is processed. If you drink milk, even plant-based milk, I'm a plant-based eater, so even plant-based milk, or particularly um, cow's milk, they have to pasteurize it. They have to heat it up to a specific temperature to kill all the bacteria. They're not going to just milk the cow, bottle it, and give it to you. They are going to pasteurize it before they put it on the shelf. That is processed. It's minimally processed, but it's processed, right? Again, unless you're just getting the milk from the cow right then and there, then that's your risk of bacteria, that's up to you, but that's what it is. And so that's what it means when it says Nova One, unprocessed or minimally processed. So these are fruits, vegetables, legumes, eggs, fish, certain meat products, milks. These are what minimally processed means, right? Now, Nova 2 means that the culinary ingredients like the salt, the oils, the butters, all those things have been refined, used, heated, milled, and they are processed within the food. So when you look at nutrition label, when I teach nutrition label reading class, I teach my patients how to look at the labels, learn certain things, and look at the ingredients. Yes, less ingredients the best. But even if you buy 4 or 5 ingredients and you're thinking it's good, it could be ultra processed, right? So I mean, it depends on what it is. Is it colorant? Is it flavors? And that leads me to number 3, Nova level number 3, which includes canned fruits and vegetables, fruits with syrups that are added to it, even cheeses and some breads, even some minimally processed food. So these classifications are hard, and I'm not expecting my patients to memorize everything. And again, I'm going to give you a little tip on just how to go ahead and get your foods and minimize the ultra processed foods. But this is the classification. It's classified in 4 groups. So this is the first 3. Again, minimally processed to processed, culinary processed, and then other crop processed foods, number 3. So number 4, that's when we get into the ultra processed. Now, these foods are the ones that are having the flavors, the vanilla extract flavors, the colors, red dye 1, this and that, emulsifiers like xanthan gum or other oils, right? They have actually added sugars and other additives and preservatives in the foods. And that's what we look for when you go into label reading. But these are your ultra processed foods. So what are they? They're packaged crackers, your cereals, your chips, your even, rotisserie chickens and different things like that. That's actually ultra processed foods, right? So because you're adding different ingredients to it and they classified it. But guess what? Even certain healthy foods, when you say healthy, are considered ultra processed, and doesn't mean that you shouldn't really eat it. It just means you should eat it less, right? So canned fruits, canned vegetables, they could certainly be in that ultra processed area, especially if they have some added ingredients like some to add to modify the color or texture. That's going to be ultra processed, right? If that's what's available on the shelf and that's what you have and you have to eat it, it's better to eat it and to get some fiber than not to eat it all and say, I'm not going to eat it, right? So it depends on availability and what's there. Yes, it's best to go to your farmer's market and get some of these foods, but these are the classification of these ultra processed foods. And so we're thinking of, again, I mentioned the convenient foods. So convenient foods are there for convenient. If you're traveling and you need to have a convenient food, they are like emergency foods. And one of the foods patients always bring to me, hey, can I eat this breakfast bar? I look at the bar and it has like 30 different ingredients. I'm like, okay, wow, let's try to figure out, let's get a healthier bar. I don't want to, deprive you of a bar, but let's use this bar as an emergency food. Let's grab a banana and a handful of nuts for a snack instead of bar all the time, right? Let's grab like, make a sandwich and take it with us instead of having some of the sandwiches that are pre-made in the stores and they have other ingredients listed in the dressings and all different things, and the cheese is processed and the meat's processed. So, those are some things that you could try. But if you eat it, doesn't mean you're gonna die right away, right? These things add up. So if you're eating pizza every day, if you're eating chicken nuggets, those are ultra processed every day. If you're eating soda, sugary drinks, cookies, chips, then your diet is then what you're eating is at risk for your health, right? Because these processed foods affect your health, and we'll talk about that soon. But the tip is to choose more whole foods. And how can you do that if you're in a budget shopping season? The Massachusetts has a guideline that you can go online to see what foods are in season. When you buy those foods in season, they're less. They cost much less. Your farmers market, your food banks, and your other stores definitely have these assistance programs that you can get fresh fruits and vegetables. Sorry. Okay, so what we want to do also is make sure that you're eating a variety. So frozen foods, if they're flash frozen or freeze dried, they're still pretty healthy. And you don't want to say, oh, I'm never going to eat them, especially now that cyclospora is going on. We want to make sure that we're cooking our fruits and vegetables if we can to reduce our risk as much as possible. And if you want to still eat raw fruits and vegetables, they say wash it properly, even though it's not guaranteed. But the point is that right now, canned foods and frozen foods are okay for the most part and probably safer due to this outbreak. But the goal is that we're not eating enough fiber, and they're found in nuts, seeds, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, all the plant foods you could think of. And these are some of the ways you can get it that are going to be low stress and also better for bang for your money. Any questions about what's ultra processed and how can I choose? Some people always say if it's not from the ground, I'm not going to eat it. Well, you can't eat everything from the ground, right? You gotta drink, put some milk when you're making a cake, right? Like I bake like healthy pancakes for my children, and I have to use milk. I use soy milk, and it's processed. It's not ultra processed, but it's processed, and I have to use it. So if I can't get everything from the ground, that's actually not practical to think of that. But if you want to live that way, that's totally fine. But let me know what you think. How do you decipher between processed, ultra processed food, right? Again, it's not for you to get a headache. It's just for you to say, let me eat as fresh as possible. People say clean. I kind of don't like that word, clean eating, but if you want to use the word clean eating, that's fine. It's up to you. But the goal is to not to stress over to the point that you become a food police, a fanatic about eating so healthy. You want to be well-rounded. You want to be aware. And you don't want to say, I'm never going to eat a corn chip ever in my life again, right? That's a little extreme.
That's not realistic, not in America.
Yeah, Rosie, exactly. So I want to hear from you. Someone raise their hand before I go on, because I think I have a few more minutes, right, Rosie?
Yeah, you got
So I don't have a question, but every time I sit in one of these meetings where I'm hearing someone like you, Suan, speak about these things, I think, well, if a person is getting older and they're uneducated about these things, then we're doomed, right? So I just wanted to say thank you for coming on. And I was talking to Rosie earlier, and I was saying, oh, we got to have these sessions a little bit more often, right? Because it's one thing, giving people access to certain foods and, talking to them about nutrition and, all the good stuff and what's not. But we need to know how the food that we eat works in our system, right? And how it changes sometimes depending on how we age, right? And it's like I said, if you don't have the education and the information, most of us are doomed.
Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying. Education or information is key, right? Because some people use that and make the change. Some
Yes.
people, because they don't know the information, they live the way they live because they have what they have. But once you know, the goal is, like you said, Ricardo, is to make the change. Yes, and I guess you could use that word doomed if you don't know. But that's why it's our goal to go into the communities, to get experts to talk about, here are some healthier options. Here's what it's doing to the body and why it's so important for your family, for you, if you want to have children, if you want to have a good reproductive health, you want to just sleep better, so these ultra processed foods in research are showing that it's increasing your risk for disease like diabetes, heart disease. You guys know that, right? I'm not going to go into all that, but they do have some links. They also have some arguments that no one really knows the definition of ultra processed food because they vary. Some foods vary. The NOVA system is flawed a little bit. It's kind of varied. So regardless if the NOVA system is flawed, regardless if we're still not getting scientifically if there's 4 or 5 ingredients. The goal for us as humans is to eat as much fresh fruits and vegetables and available foods that we can, right? To cook most of our foods from home. And if we're dining out, to look at the ingredients and look at the rest of the menu and say, hey, what can I eat from here that's the best option for me for my health? And the dietitian can guide you towards, eating and choosing those foods when you're on the road or when you're out. But realistically speaking, the goal is to eat as less processed and ultra processed food as possible. So research shows if you're eating more, people that are eating more processed and ultra processed foods, you're actually lifespan is shorter. Your lifespan is shorter. Yeah, there's like detailed studies that show that your lifespan is shorter. They say risk for death. I don't want to use that word, but they say risk for death. If your diet is comprised, if your diet is 70, 89% of ultra processed foods, you're on that verge to not doing and being well, according to what the studies are saying. And if you think about our communities, what are in our communities, what's down the store, what's down the road, what's in the corner stores on different places. So, this is a different conversation. Anyway, but the point is that we need to change our environment, change our thought processes, access, and given the education, do the best that we can with what we have. It doesn't mean that if we're living in a place where we can't go outside, for example, and exercise. We may be able to do some exercise inside. Exercise is an important aspect of health too, not just nutrition, right? But movement is really important. And so in some places you're not able to move around. But I talk to clients about, different activities, indoor, different things that they could do, even outdoor places that they could go, similar to food access, where the places they could go to pick up these foods and, shelters or markets or banks in different places. So we have to kind of get out there in the communities to show our fellow brothers and sisters and help them. So now I have a little list here. I mentioned everything that I spoke about, budgeting, banks, and all that. So I'll move on to the next slide. And I just do a little fiction versus fact intercession here. So diabetes myth. So red meat consumption increases diabetes risk. Fact or fiction? Anybody?
Fact.
Fact. Yeah. Fact. Someone said fact. Cynthia, great. No one else is playing along. That's okay. Someone got kicked out that said sorry, kicked out. I don't know.
They're back in, yeah.
Oh, okay. So why is this? Again, it goes back to a lot of things. Do you have Okay, sorry, this is the wrong slide. Yeah, the red meat consumption goes back to a lot of things, but most of all, it goes back to the fatty acids. We talked about the saturated fat. Red meat is high saturated fat content, right? But of course, you could get leaner cuts, yeah, but that's not only reason why. So fat's the other thing. The other reason also that some studies show that red meat consumption increases diabetes risk because it's pro-inflammatory, has pro-inflammatory markers, meaning that it causes inflammation. So there's something called TMAO, which we can talk about more later. You don't have to memorize that acronym, but just understand when you eat processed meat, especially red processed meat, in our gut, these microbes metabolize that meat and produce a byproduct in our bloodstream that becomes very inflammatory. And that is one of the reasons why diabetes risk goes up. Because if you remember, well, I don't know if you remember, but if I'd mentioned it, diabetes is an inflammatory process. All diseases are inflammatory process. They start out as inflammation and they increase in their inflammation. So when diabetes or blood sugar levels are managed, inflammation is lower. When it's not managed, inflammation gets way up in the body. And that's chronic inflammation. It's like your body is burning inside on the inside. It's not like you have a cut and the cut is inflamed and you cover it up, put a bandage on it. That's not that inflammation. That inflammation is good because your body tells you you have a cut, you got to take care of it and it heals. The inflammation that's going on continuously. Okay. Yeah.
So we're not telling you to go plant-based or vegan overnight, but small micro changes, right?
Yeah. So yes,
nuts for your snacks, little things like that, and
yeah,
be mindful of that
yeah,
throughout the day.
yeah. And you know what? My patients, a lot of them that come to me aren't plant-based or vegan. Of course, my program set up a plant-based method, but they love the foods, they understand what it does. And occasionally, if they have holidays or vacations or celebratory days, they may eat their curry chicken or oxtail and different things. Not like they're used to eating it every day. And again, I was on a podcast earlier, and I say one of the biggest misconceptions in our life of cultural diversity when I talk about food is that you have to give up your cultural foods if you're going plant-based. And that's not true, because a lot of our cultural foods are based in spices and herbs, different cooking methods that you could still use with a lot of plant-based foods and get some of the same textures and same flavors.
Mhm.
And that's another presentation.
I agree, because
because you have a plant-based chef here also, right? So
yes, we
yeah.
do have a plant-based chef here,
Yeah.
Nahdra. Did you
Yeah.
Sue Ellen, did you wanna, are you all set, or did
Yeah, I'm just gonna I'll skip the
you
other
wanna
stuff and I'll go towards the end because I know you're
go ahead, and
yeah.
then you can start. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. I'll skip this. You are what you eat. We talked about that earlier from the fats and eliminating carbs. We mentioned that you don't have to do this, right? That is carbs are not the problem. We just have to minimize it, but usually starting what the fats can do. And we mentioned fiber already. Like we, talked a little bit about gut health, but fiber helps reduce inflammation in the gut, in the brain, everything, and helps manage blood sugar, prevents the high spike of your sugar. Now, when you eat carbs, everyone's blood sugar is going to go up. That's normal. But we're talking about this dramatic high and the high in blood sugar that stays high, right? The fiber helps calm that down, along with pairing with protein and fat. And that's it. We talked a lot about different things. There's more to talk about if we can, and I'm happy to come back again or to have you all learn about my programs. But if you want to give me a follow, Instagram, Facebook, send me an email. Happy to, to answer your questions the best way I can. So thank you for having me.
So I have one question before you leave,
Go
please.
ahead, Lisa.
So I just want to ask you, what's your take on the GPL-1s? Do you have any?
GLP-1s?
Yeah.
So what is my take? So usually that's an individualized question. I understand that GLP-1s, can affect your gut. And when you are taking those medications, you have to work with a registered dietitian to make sure that you're not missing those micronutrients, because not eating, which that's the side effect of the medication, reduces intake, and not eating can affect your micronutrients and your macronutrients. So working with a dietitian is important. Now, is that my first go-to? No, that is not my first go-to. But however, each person is different, and certain I guess protocols may be variable for each person. You have to kind of look through it, weigh the pros and cons, and the patient has to make a choice into deciding, is this the best case scenario for me? Weighing my pros and when I say pros and cons, weighing my risk and my benefits, I would say, and you decide what's the best case scenario. Now, does everyone need to be on a GLP-1? No. Does everyone need to be on medication? Any kind of medication? No. Just because someone has a certain illness or condition doesn't mean medication is for everybody. Some people can use medication, some people really need it, some people may not. They may need to do diet and lifestyle first, and if that doesn't work, they need to transition to medication, right? So GLP-1 is a tool in a health provider's toolbox that a patient has to decide, should I take it or should I not take it? Weigh the pros and cons, because there are many.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
all your
coming back,
expertise.
Lisa.
I appreciate you, and thank you for coming.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Lisa. You're welcome.
Always
Hey,
love
Sue
having you,
I'll
Sue
be
Ellen, and it looks like
Susie.
we need a part 3.
Yeah, no problem. I could come back. Thank you, Ricardo. You were saying something?
I was saying I am definitely going to reach out to you soon about a project that we're working on.
Okay.
And so just look out for an email from me. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys. You guys are doing a wonderful job in the community. And thank you again for having me. And I'll stick around to look at that cooking demo.
Yeah,
So yeah.
stick around.
Yeah.
Yeah, stick
All
around.
right.
Please.
Take care, guys.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay,
Thank
so
you
I'll
so
stop.
much.
You're welcome. I'll stop sharing now, okay?
Okay, yeah, because I
Okay.
don't think I could pin. Let me try to pin Nahdra. Let me unpin you. Can someone pin Nahdra? I'm not able to pin her. And unpin Sue Ellen.
Let me see.
Unpin Sue Ellen. Pin Nahdra. one of my favorite plant-based chefs,
Oh,
a friend of mine.
yeah, I forgot to mention, if you don't mind, I did have a question inside the sign up about accepting insurance. I'm working on that. People are also asking me about that. If you want to fill it out and try to figure out where you are, and if you want to work with me and my providers, I'll be happy to give you a free discovery call on that as well.
Thank you.
Let me put it in here, I'll do that when Nahdra
Did
starts.
we lose her?
Nahdra, she was just in the chat.
Nope, she's on.
I'm here.
I'm like, hold on.
Hi,
Peace,
Nahdra.
everyone. I'm
Yeah.
here.
Thank you. How are you?
Did you pin her? I don't see it.
I'm still looking for her.
Oh, the three dots. I don't know why I'm not able to do that. I thought Rebecca made me co-host.
Yeah, I'm not even getting the option.
That's interesting. I feel like I was able to do it the last time we did a call.
Oh, I think I just pinned the wrong person.
Good.
We're all connected here.
Yep. Okay, I'm able to pin her. I was able to pin her.
Oh, here she is.
Welcome, Nahdra. Thank you so much for joining us.
My honor. Good to see you. Oh,
Likewise.
wonderful.
Before we get started, do you want to introduce yourself, your name, the name of your restaurant, your role in the
Sure.
community? How did you come to do this work?
Well, okay, so my name is Nahdra. Some know me as Chef Nahdra. Some know me as fashion designer Nahdra. It's another story. And my restaurant, I'm the co-owner of Oasis Vegan Veggie Parlor. We did close our brick and mortar, but we still cater, and we've had a lovely opportunity to feed many, many people in the community near and far with love and plant-based food.
You're
Yeah.
breaking up, or is it just me? It looks
Am
like
I breaking up?
for me. I don't know if it's me or you.
It's
Anybody
clear to
else?
me.
You're good? Okay, maybe it's
It
just
seemed okay to me. Yeah.
okay. Everyone is saying yes, it's me. Go ahead.
Well, how I got started, I actually stopped eating meat and dairy products when I was 14, and I'm much older than that now. So I got in the kitchen, and I really found my way of learning more about plant-based foods, alkaline plant-based foods, and just really foods from the earth that worked best for our bodies. And I went down a long road and became a chef later. Yeah, that's how I got started. Oh, I cannot hear you. Are you muted?
Oh yeah, I'm muted.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much. You can feel free, whenever you want to start your little cooking demo.
Okay, so I'm so excited to be here. This is my honor. I love sharing food and also promoting health. We are amazing beings, and why not have a great life here and putting love into our body together, right? So happy to be here again. We are going to make a Powerball bowl. This is what I call a Powerball bowl. It's in a jar because it's easy to store in the fridge. So we can make, you can make multiple ones. Some call it meal prepping. You can put it in your bag and off you go to the gym or work or wherever you need to go. And you can eat it from the jar, or you can dump it out into a bowl and have your meal already together. So this is what we're going to make today. This one includes, we're going to make ours a little bit different, but this one includes brown rice, and that was prepped and cooked previous. This is raw chickpeas. We have salmon. The greens are kale, arugula, spinach, and Swiss chard. We have raw red onions, raw carrots, raw tomatoes, and lots of good seasoning and some homemade dressing. So we're going to make one very similar. Using quinoa will be our first ingredient that we'll add to our jar. I'm using a 16-ounce jar. You can use any size you want. Again, this is a meal prep, so if you have a whole family that you're feeding, you can have a larger jar and just have your complete meal ready as well. First things first, we'll start with quinoa, which is already cooked prior for time purposes. And we just add it to our jar.
And it could be rice too, right?
Can you see?
Can
you hear me?
Yep. You're breaking up a little bit. Oh, is it just me? Maybe I should log back.
Oh, she's breaking up on my line.
Yeah, you're breaking up and your video is glitchy. It keeps like yeah.
And we want to see all that beauty.
I know. I want to see. I know.
Yes.
Oh, she's beautiful. She's a beautiful queen.
Yes, she is.
Thank you. That's so kind of you all. But I definitely want to make sure you get your Powerball.
Yeah, I want to see you. Do you want to log back in?
Yeah, how about I do that?
Yeah, do that. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, just one moment.
Yeah, because that can be helpful. Yeah, the Power Bowl, protein bowl, it is powerful. And it's easy. Like you can make 3, 4 of them and bring them with you. It's good for on the go, and it's also good for large families.
Yeah,
Nobody got time to be cooking every day. I don't know about anybody else, but
right. I want to know where you get them jars. Yeah.
Oh, those jars you can those are called the mason jars. I usually get them on Amazon.
Oh, say less. Thank you so much.
Yep, and the 16-ounce jar she's using. They have an 8-ounce, they have a 4-ounce, they have an 8-ounce, they have a 16. Yeah.
Walmart carry them too.
Yeah, Walmart. Yep, you can get a Walmart. I think you can get them at Target as well.
Oh, say less.
Yeah.
Noted.
Yeah,
Thank
but
you.
I always go to Amazon for stuff. But yeah, I believe Target
Stop and Shop and
Stop It, yeah.
Star Market has I always try to get them where they're not costly.
Exactly. I find it's cheap on Amazon. That's why I usually order them at.
My point exactly. Yes.
And you can reuse them, right? So this is reusable, you know, and you could switch it up. You know, is she back? Or she's probably trying to log on.
You should be able to get them at Dollar Tree.
Yep, Dollar Tree too. Yep. Not all Dollar Trees I find has them, but depending on the Dollar Tree. Arlene says she uses her spaghetti sauce jar. Smart recycling. I go to Ocean State Job. Yeah, they have them there too. Sophia. Yeah. And you can make spaghetti too, like, and throw it in there. You really have to get creative with food, so.
The wheat spaghetti, right? The wheat one. Mm-hmm.
She's all right. Maybe she's
Yeah, I noticed she was going in and out. Oh, she's back. Okay, good.
Yep, just like Brianna said, you can reuse those jars for so many things. And they're earth friendly, right? Like it's glass, which I like. I reuse mine all the time.
Okay, I'm back. Yay! Yay! Yay for technology.
Oh, the video's better. Yay!
Okay, perfect. All right, that was beautiful. So here we go. Okay, that's my Zen point. All right, so I added in the quinoa. I'm just going to add a little bit more. But you can add really as much as you want. I'm using 1/3 of a cup. And then from there, we're going to add black beans in. I'll put it down like this. We're going to add black beans in.
Just raw like that, Nahdra? You didn't cook them?
I did not cook them.
Okay.
No. You can cook them if you'd like.
Yep.
But isn't that from the jar, the cans though?
No, you can use from the can as well, as long as you rinse them.
Yeah.
But if you
Okay.
use dry beans, all you have to do is just boil it down until they're very soft.
Or you could soak them overnight, right? You could soak
Yes,
them overnight.
you can soak them as well. There's so many ways you can do it, but yes, you definitely can soak them as well. And you'll have to soak them for a while, but that's definitely a way you can do it.
Yeah.
As well as the chickpeas. The chickpeas are completely raw as well. And then I'm adding that in. And really, it's your preference how much you put. I'm a chickpea kind of gal, so I usually put a lot, but I'm gonna I'll put this much for now. And we're also we're gonna add in cooked green lentils.
Oh.
So this is a high protein
and fiber.
Power. Yes. Yes. And if anybody who knows me, I like flavor. So we don't have to lack on any flavor whatsoever. And you can see what it's looking like there. From there, we are going to add our seasonings. You can add pink Himalayan sea salt. It's not mandatory. We're also going to add lemon in shortly. So if you don't want the actual sea salt, you can go with lemon and it will still give you that flavor of a taste of salt. So adding in onion powder, garlic powder, a touch of cumin.
Oh,
cumin. Now, I'm a little spicy, so I do like, I love cayenne. So I'm going to add some cayenne, but not mandatory, of course. You can add black pepper if you'd like, not mandatory as well. And from there, we're going to squeeze our fresh lemon. And getting all that good juice in there so it can go to the bottom. From there, we'll add chopped tomatoes. Red onion. Purple cabbage. All of this is raw.
You see the rainbow, guys? That's the rainbow.
Yes. Yes, all the earth food in there.
Yeah.
Eating from the fresh rainbow. I like to push mines down because I like to add more. So carrots. And again, if you're not into carrots or any of these dishes, you don't have to add it in. But this is what we got so far. Bell peppers. This one is orange. I didn't have any green, so that's what we got, y'all. But you can add green in. And then we have kale, dandelion, arugula, and spinach.
Wow.
And Swiss chard, red Swiss chard. And with the leaves, you can just push them down. And there's something so beautiful about building your own food, cooking your own food, creating your own food. I strongly suggest while you are making this, while you're watching, you have good thoughts, right? Good thoughts of love and prosperity and healthy energy. Because it matters as you touch the food, as you prep the food, as you prepare to eat it.
Everything she makes is with love.
Yes, it is. That's my main ingredient. That really is my main ingredient.
I love it.
Because who wants to cook with anything other than that? I mean,
Right.
that's it right there. Once you do that, everything is ready.
Yeah.
We have some fresh olive oil, and you can just drizzle that right on as much as you would like. You can see it seep down. And then if you'd like to add more seasoning, you can. You can also add dressing, any dressing that you prefer, or you can make your own. The lemon with the olive oil is a wonderful time.
Is that dressing you made, Nahdra?
That is dressing I made.
What's in
And
it?
it's with black pepper, cumin, more cayenne, y'all.
Yeah.
And the garlic and onion powder as well.
And would you put apple cider vinegar and olive oil?
Yes, I do.
Oh, Susie.
Apple cider vinegar is a good time. So
That's a
you can
good
just,
time, I know.
yes, yes, you can get it in there. And if you look closely, you can see how the ingredients is getting moist. If you can see that. You want to close the lid very tightly and just give it a shake. Shake it like you mean it, you know. Shake it with love. Shake it, shake it, shake it. And now we're ready to unveil. From there, you can empty your Powerball bowl. All ingredients right on top of each other. Now, this was a 16-ounce jar. If you can see here, it is well enough.
That looks so good.
It is well enough to feed you and maybe somebody else.
And I want to remind
Yes.
people, if you do eat meat, throw some chicken on there. Throw
That's
some
right.
fish.
That's right.
Make it your own. Get creative.
Yes.
It's all
Yes. And this one
creative.
again has salmon in it. This
Oh.
one has salmon. So that's salmon right above the chickpeas. And then instead of quinoa, this is brown rice.
And brown rice got a lot of fiber, guys.
Yes, that's right.
I go to.
And these are high protein. This is a high protein dish. You can always eliminate a few things if you're not into that ingredients.
Yeah. Mm.
And I just want to let y'all know this smells so good right now.
Looks so good. It's making me
It's
hungry.
so fresh. It is so fresh.
Oh my God, that looks beautiful.
Oh,
And you're
man.
eating the rainbow.
Exactly.
Yeah. Was
Yeah,
lovely.
it smells amazing.
Oh,
And there you have it.
much, Nahdra. That
You're
was
so welcome. It's
easy.
my pleasure. I love
Yeah.
you guys.
Easy
I
to
love you guys so
follow.
much. Any
Question for you,
questions?
So
Nahdra.
much.
What
Thank
does
you.
how much does that dish cost for that one serving?
This is under $20.
Wow.
Definitely under $20.
Mhm.
Yes.
See
Now,
that?
when it comes to the grain, you can decide which one you want to do,
Mhm.
or no grains at all, honestly.
Right.
Awesome. That's
Any
awesome.
questions for Nahdra? Comments? Did you guys enjoy it?
I wish we were doing this in person, so
I know. I was thinking of that too.
Then you could smell it. Then you could smell all the goodness and taste it.
Manifest
I
it.
have a question.
Yes.
Go ahead, Denise.
Cynthia. You said under $20 for that meal, but
Yes.
the ingredients that you buy for under $20, you can make more than one jar from it. Is that not correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yes. You
Tanya, you
can.
have a question?
Yes, that thing is so good, but I am finding
I didn't
you
hear.
make me hungry right now.
Oh, I know. We're all hungry. I know.
Good job. I want to say good job. Kudos to you. Kudos to you.
Thank you.
I am writing you to Miss Cynthia's group. Miss Cynthia's group Thursday at 3. You can teach us more how to do it with Miss Cynthia's group. Thursday, 3 to 5.
I'll
That
send
sounds
it to
wonderful.
Nahdra. Yeah, she wants to join. Anybody? I think I've seen Denise
And Nahdra,
with
will
her
you,
hands up.
Nahdra, will
Go
you
ahead.
come back? Will
Yeah.
you come back and do this again for us sometime?
It would be my honor. Yes, indeed.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nahdra. Anyone else? Last final comments, questions for Nahdra? I put the survey in the chat. Let us know how it went. Did it go well or not so great? It's all good.
And we'll make sure you get the recipe
Yeah,
as
she'll
well.
send me the recipe.
Yes.
I have to send you that. I don't have everyone's email, so I'm gonna send it to you, Rick. So you could just send it to everyone.
Yes.
So even if they didn't join, they still have the recipe if they wanted to explore with that.
That would be
And
great.
Arlene, you want to come off mute? One more person.
Yes, I was getting ready to put it in the chat. Farmers market and the fresh truck is a good place to get a lot of these ingredients, and it's going to bring the price down. Although I know the price you quote is probably in bulk, because one can of chickpeas and red beans is only like 99 cents each. But you can
Exactly.
make 2 or 3, servings in that. So I just want to put that out there.
Yes, that is absolutely correct.
And Nahdra, I know you're doing business, so is there some way that people can get a hold of you if they say, "Hey, man, I want to get into really eating healthy," and say, "Well, can I call you up and have you maybe prep some meals for me or something?"
Yes, thank you for asking. My contact information is the house of Nahdra
I'm gonna
at
put it in the chat.
gmail.com, and I'll put in my phone number as well.
Okay, I'll
And
put
yes,
it in
I
the
prep
chat,
meals all the time for people.
and we'll put that on the follow-up.
Thank you. Thank you for asking. Yes. And so one thing I would love to leave you all with is being conscious about what you eat, but also being conscious about your thoughts while you're eating. And so like Sue Ellen did mention earlier, if you choose to eat something that you know is not the best for you, but that's what you're doing at that moment, don't beat yourself up about it. Don't do that, because that doesn't really help anyone, especially not you. But what I would strongly suggest is to eat with love and to be aware of what we're putting into our body.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for all your
Nahdra,
information.
where did you get the idea for the Powerball ball? I've never heard of anything like that.